Okay, we are down in the basement at 1922 East 116th Place. It is an unfinished basement, so we do have easily available our nice little clean out. There's a little bit of a groove there. You might be able to see it. There's a touch of a groove right here. And that just means it's been cable cleaned before. The cable leaves a groove when it wears down there, which I'd be shocked if it hadn't been cleaned at least once in its life. So that's our cast iron. It's gonna look rough and ugly because cast iron looks rough and ugly. It's a tiny bit flat, but we flushed the toilet 2 times and had the sink running. That's only about 1/4 inch of water. It's not enough to worry about. The cast iron actually looks pretty darn good, especially for a vacant. A lot of times there's a mess in here, either left over from them rehabbing it, or this stuff that's always stuck to the pipe will dry out and flake and fall into the bottom, and you'll have a big pile of that down there, but there's neither one of those going on here. Looks pretty darn good.
I would have thought this house being built in 72, I would have thought it would have had clay pipe.
It does, but under the footprint of the structure, it's always cast iron. Up until mid to late 80s, it's still cast iron underneath the house itself. There's the clay tile. And it looks good. A little bit of root coming in there. For some reason, it's got a short piece and then another piece tying into it. Tiny bit of root there, but it's nothing even close to being something we'd clean yet. You don't have a lot of trees in the front yard, so we might get really lucky with this one. So far, it looks extremely clean. A little bit more root there. Still, that's not enough to try to clean yet. It would be a waste of energy. There's just not enough bulk there for the cleaning to get a hold of. The blade wouldn't have anything to cut against. Yeah, a little bit there too. Still not anything big enough yet. The unions have looked really good. 64 feet, and you are in a concrete city sewer right there. So, I'm almost 65 feet long. It's great. I don't know, the one thing we don't know is when they cleaned it last, so we have no idea how long it took to grow that big. I'm imagining it took it a long time. And no, there's no offsets, no cracks. I'd clean it every 3 or 4 years just to be safe. But right now, the first one might be something you want to do in the next year or year and a half, just because we don't know how long it's been and we don't know how long those have been growing. I mean, if they cleaned it 4 months ago and they look like that, maybe a year and a half, they may be back. But I don't suspect that's the kind of situation we have here. Or that.
My guess would be, they put it on the market back in October. Probably wasn't anything they would have done with it prior to. They got the house March 2011. Did their
Yeah, I don't think it's something that's had to have a lot of maintenance. I mean, it's had some because it has that groove and it has this cap. This cap comes from a drain cleaner. It just doesn't find its way on there by accident. Because that's, well, but it's not been a ton. Because on the really bad ones, by this time, that groove can actually be almost so far up that it's starting to touch the threads where the original cap was. And it is not that far.
What can you use your color camera on that other one when you were out of town?
Oh.
You're trying to figure out if it's the city's blue irrigation pipe that bored through the clay tile, or if it's Comcast's orange pipe that they bored through the clay.
Oh, you had a sideboard?
Huh?
You had a sideboard? Damaged it?
Well, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
right through. Yep.
I had it was Quest who hit the one, I was about 2 or 3 months ago. Had to get him out there. count for something in some
Yeah.
places. All right, so that is our sewer.